Hi guys, this is Michelle. I am back with my June update, which is my 2-year, 5-month update. So let me get to, well, I'm not going to give you all of my stats in detail, but I'll just say that at the end of June, my weight was 173. So that was a 2-pound loss from May because I was 175 in May. So today is July 5th, so we're talking about June and what I weighed then. So I have lost 79 pounds since I had surgery. I've lost 114 pounds since the start of the whole process, and I'm down 147 pounds from my all-time highest weight. So let's talk about June and what happened. So in June, I was doing my calendar again, and here it is all filled out. And so I had 2 major things that I was working on for June. So number 1 is my calendar. As usual, my goals were 2 liters of water, 7 hours of sleep, 12 hours fasting. 12 hours water fasting, that's what that water means. So 12 hours from the time that I finish eating the night before until I have my coffee the next morning, that I want to at least go 12 hours water fasting, 50 net carbs, and then meditation. So what I decided to do to make this a little bit easier for you guys and for me is on every day where I didn't get all of my stars, I wrote down what it was that I didn't get done. So like this first week, I was doing really good, just had a couple of days with no sleep, one day when I didn't get my fasting in, one day I didn't get my carbs in. So of course I started off the month super motivated as usual. And then things started going downhill a little bit. It looks like I had a bunch of days where I didn't get my carbs in. I mean, I was starting to do bad with that and with my 12-hour fasting. And then we come down to this next week, which once again, I hope you can see this really well. Man, I was doing so bad on my carbs. I mean, usually I don't have problems with carbs, but what in the world was I doing? And then the last week, I almost practically gave up, I admit. Bad. I had one really good day here where I got it together, but carbs, meditation, I completely stopped meditating. I kind of forgot about it. I had a lot of days. So like this month, I did have several days that I went out with friends. I drank a lot this month, I admit. Yes. Now my other challenge for this month, I had challenged myself to exercise 30 minutes of exercise every single day. So did I do that? Well, I put a circle around all the days that I exercised, and I only had 3 days, and of course the last day of the month, because like I said, I'd pretty much given up by the time I got down there. 3 days. Which is pretty good. I mean, I really wanted to come back and say that I actually managed to do it for all 30 days. And that first one that I messed up truly was kind of an accident. But the thing that I realized, and I'm still watching Grace Gets Gastric and her 75 hard, so motivating. That this is the thing. If you don't, there's that quote again, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. All of those 3 days that I didn't get my exercise in, if I had have just did the exercise when I was supposed to, like earlier in the day, no matter what happened, it would have been done. So the thing is that maybe one of the days I did have a good excuse. And then for one of the days, I didn't have a good excuse. And then for the other day, I don't even remember. But the point was that if I had done it, it's like I didn't wake up sick on any of those days. I was perfectly fine. And so on all of those days, I could have done my workout earlier in the day and then it would have been done, instead of waiting until the last second and then something happens and I don't get it done. And that's exactly what happened. So, I mean, I am proud of the commitment and what I did and how well I did. I know a lot of you got on me for being so hard on myself last month, and I'm trying not to be hard on myself, but I did, like, I'm not hard on myself for the stars because, you know, in general, I still did pretty good, except for this last week. But, you know, the exercise thing, like I said, I learned a lot. I learned a lot about how badly do you really want something. If I really wanted to get all 30 days perfect, then I would have planned better and I would have made sure that it came out that way. And so, you know, I'm still proud of the job that I did. I'm still glad that the scale has moved down. You know, last month was a gain and the month before was a gain. And so now finally I'm ending the month. So finally I ended June with a loss. And I feel very positive that I'm going to end July with a loss. So July 4th was my 2-year, 6-month surgiversary. Now this is supposed to be my June update, but I can't help but to talk a little bit about July. So, you know, on July 4th, I was looking back. So I use the My Weight app where I have been entering my weight. I was a daily weigher for about the first year and a half. And then I started weighing like several times a week. And I admit that this year, you know, starting at my 2-year mark, I probably weigh once a week. Yeah, about once a week. Not that there's anything wrong with once a week, but to go from daily weighing. But anyway, so I have a consistent history. You know, I started keeping track during my 6-month supervised diet. So I'm 2.5 years out. So I have 3 years worth of weights now that are in that app. And so I decided to go back because I was still feeling, so my doctor's goal for me was 169. And I keep feeling a little bad about the fact that I have been in the 170s for an eternity, and I have touched 169, I thought, several times. But when I went back and I actually looked at the app, let's see, where did I write it down? It turns out that, okay, so the first time that I hit my surgeon's goal was in August of last year, August 9th. And I hit 169.2. And then the lowest I got down to in August was 168.8. I only stayed in the 160s for 2 weeks before I bumped back up again into the 170s. Then come January of this year, I made it back again to 169.4, went all the way down to 168 before, and I stayed around there for about 2 weeks until once again I popped back up into the 170s, which is where I still am. So, I mean, the truth is that, so what? Like, as of today, I'm like 5 pounds up from what my lowest weight has been since surgery. That's not too bad, especially since I've never even consistently stayed there. And so now I have to ask myself why. Oh, and then also I did look back. So at this time last year, I am pretty much the exact same weight that I was at this time last year. So in 2018, I spent a decent amount of time in the 170s, but I also did spend a lot of time in the 180s and the 190s, and then just that 2 weeks in the 160s. And so far in 2019, I have spent all my time in the 170s with just 2 weeks in the 160s. And I've spent a few days here and there in the 180s just after some vacations, but then I've always quickly got out of it. So it's still a downward trend, but I really would at least like to be in the 160s. I at least want to meet my surgeon's goal. I'm only 5'3". even meeting my surgeon's goal, I'm still in the overweight category, but I'll take it because obviously my body likes to stay around this weight. And I kind of say that I easily maintain this weight, but it's not easy, but it's not extremely difficult. I maintain this weight as long as the majority of the time I am eating my 50 net carbs. I'm walking around trying to get my steps most days with my Fitbit. I exercise here and there. You know, June was a special month because I did all that exercise, but ordinarily, no, it's hit or miss. But I am always trying to get my steps with my StepBet. I am always meal prepping. I meal prep every week. And so that's without fail. And I track and I log most of my meals. So once again, probably for my first 2 years, I logged everything. Now I log most of the things. So I might, maybe 3 or 4 days out of the week, I'm logging things in MyFitnessPal. It's not, it's not consistently every day. So by doing those things, that's how I've been able to keep the weight that I am now. So it's not hard per se, but now I'm starting to think that I need to do something to get myself into the 160s and stay in the 160s. It's like I can get into the 160s probably. But I want to be able to stay there. And so, during my 6-month supervised diet, my doctor's office told me to eat 50 net carbs. So I have been eating 50 net carbs this entire time, this whole 2.5 years plus my 6 months before surgery, 50 net carbs. I'm just saying in general, because of course there are days that I eat much less than 50 net carbs, and then there's times that I go over. But in general, every single month, the majority of the time, I've had 50 net carbs or less. So I've decided that for the rest of this year, starting this month in July, I'm going to decrease my carbs to 40. I want to see how difficult that is going to be for me. The thing that I like about 50 net carbs is that it's not difficult for me. It's very, very easy. And of course, I've been doing it for so long. When I first started it, it wasn't easy. But it's very easy, and it's so easy I don't even really need to track in order to do it, because unless I eat something like too much popcorn, too many nuts, it's very easy for me to stay there. And it's easy for me to know when I'm not within that, because it's like, oh, well, if I ate all my normal meals plus I ate 2 servings of popcorn, well then, yeah, there we go. I'm not at 50 net carbs. I know that. I like the ease of 50 net carbs. 40 net carbs actually scares me a little bit. It might not seem like a big difference, but it seems like a big difference to me. And so what my challenge is going to be for July to help me try to get used to this 40 net carbs and see what it feels like is that my goal is to log every single day and to have 40 net carbs or less every day in July. That's going to be my only goal. 1 star a day is my only goal. So today's Saturday. I've already done it these first 5 days. That's the only thing that I'm really going to focus on. I'm still going to try to do all the other things like I'm supposed to. I have my StepBet, so I'm always moving. I get my 2 liters of water every day. I'm trying to remember to meditate. Do my intermittent fasting, yes. Get my 7 hours of sleep in. I mean, I've really become much, it's like in terms of sleeping, I am so impressed with how much better I did in June with my sleeping compared to how I did in May. Wow, I had gotten off track with sleeping, and now I'm so much more on track. Which is the whole point of this in the first place, is just to help me stay on track and be more on track. So my new plan, July, 40 net carbs, but really 40 net carbs for the whole rest of this year, to see if that will get me into the 160s and help me stay there. And yes, I could go lower, or yes, I could go keto, but I want to do something that I can consistently do for the long haul. I don't think that I can do keto for the long haul. So to me, there's no purpose of me even doing it. It's one thing to do a challenge here and there and do something temporary here and there, but I like to have an overriding thing that's going to be what my normal goal is all the time, the thing that I always settle on. And for me, until now, it's been 50 net carbs. Now it's going to be 40 net carbs. And I think I keep saying the same thing over and over again. Let's see how I do with this. So I am going to this month I'm going to do a couple of different what I eat in a day videos. I'm also going to do several meal prepping videos, at least maybe 3 or 4 or something like that. Just so you can see what I'm up to. I mean, I'm always meal prepping and it's always low carb, but I'm going to try to release some more of these for this month of July. So thank you guys for watching, and I will check in with you again at the end of July. And let's see if I can finally get into the 160s and stay there.